All right, what's up, everyone? Happy Monday. Welcome back. Hello, Hair Pro. I don't know. Whatever. It's like hyping everything up over here. What's up, Jen? How's it going?
It's going good and nothing's up. Waiting for spring to finally be here for some nice weather, please.
I feel the same way. Nothing's up. We were pretty productive yesterday. I feel like we were clicking and getting stuff done. Like people out there listening you guys have like a checklist and you're like, we'll get these things done. And then it sits there for a while. Well, yesterday was one of those days where you were like checking stuff off the list.
Which always feels great.
Yeah. Felt really good to get stuff done. I'm ready for spring too, which let's do this just for fun. Let's rank the seasons.
Okay.
So spring is definitely for me 4th on the list. It's the worst season.
Yes, I would agree.
Oh, really? Thought we were going to have some.
No. Want me to go?
I guess.
I would go fall, summer, winter, spring. Might
Okay.
even go fall, winter, summer, spring. No, I'm going to go fall, summer, winter, spring.
So I have the same problem. So fall is obviously first. Anybody that says fall is not the best season is a psychopath. I don't trust that person.
Especially in New England. It's like end of summer. Like it still has a summer feel and it just goes into this fabulous, wonderful October.
All the stuff
Yeah.
is starting then. The best times of the year.
Mm-hmm.
The best clothes you can wear.
Yeah, all of it.
Having fires outside. People always like to have campfires in the summer. Well, in New England, where we live, it's hot and wet in the summer.
Yeah, and buggy.
I don't want fire near me. Weird. People love it, but I guess camping, if it got cool, if you were up north a little bit, but yeah. Anyways, I flip-flop between winter and summer, but if I being second, but if I had to pick one, I would pick winter.
Okay.
I just dig the snow. I dig the cold. I think where we live, it's funny. We used to hang out with someone from Alaska. People are probably like, what the hell does this have to do with anything? I'm just rambling because I wanted to keep today light.
Okay.
Right? We used to hang out with someone from Alaska. And when we showed him some of what New England looks like, remember in 2008, that big giant ice storm?
Yes.
Where trees were covered in so much ice that they were cracking. And while you were trying to sleep, you're like, is that one coming through the roof? Because it was crazy. I think I remember him saying, it doesn't even get like this in Alaska. This is insane. I think living here makes you tough.
Yeah.
Like you have to be tough to live here in the winter.
I would agree.
And I don't know, it's good for you. It's almost like a workout. Like it trains you to be a tougher person.
Yeah.
Because if you still have to do your daily stuff, like you still need to, plus you need to do more stuff. You need to
shovel
or whatever. And you've got to do that sometimes when the wind is trying to knock you over and it's negative 10 degrees outside.
Yeah. This winter was brutal too. Anyway, I'm ready for spring, but yeah, the wet is not always awesome, but I want to sit on the deck. That's what I want to do and not shiver.
Yeah. The spring is too wet here for me and muddy and but that's okay. All right. Anyways, we always start with rambling, but we're going to start with our opening takes. You going first, Jen?
Sure. It plays off of last week's episode, I'm pretty sure. My first client yesterday of the day came in and she abruptly quit her job and is moving to Florida. So I'm down a client. I wouldn't say...
She does not like the winters.
She does not like the winters and she has had it. So her and her husband are literally in 2 days moving to Florida, which good for her. She's been my client for 20 years and it was actually sad at the end. She was like in tears crying, I'm going to miss you so much. But I had to give her the power to be like, you're going to find a great hairdresser, I promise. And if you don't, just fly back because I'm still here. But anyway, so now, we talked about, I think last week, a little bit about clients and timing and that kind of stuff and what they value. And so I'm down a client. I happen to actually have a new client in my schedule the same exact day, which was very interesting. And it's good for me. I don't get a lot of new clients, but it reminds me of how people get nervous when someone new is coming in. And when that first client was down, I was like, I don't feel like dealing with someone new today. I like all my old clients. We just vibe. But anyway, here I am. I had a new client. So she sits in my chair. She was referred to me by one of my other clients who is a realtor. So this is really cool, right? So now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay, you like picked me because somebody told you to. She just moved here 5 months ago and is about to have her second baby. I say this because she didn't move that far. She lives where she used to live was maybe a half an hour drive. So over the last 5 months, she's been going back to her old hairdresser. And when we talk about what a client values, the reason why she ended up being like, I don't feel like doing this drive anymore is because the stylist always ran late. She was squeezing people in. She would sometimes, when this girl would get to her appointment, be like, do you mind if I just take this other client real quick and then I take you? And she's like, what am I supposed to say to that? And then she's like, and then before I knew it, I'm sitting there and my service is taking me 4 hours because she's taking all these people. And she's like, I can't do this anymore. So she's like, I love her and I love my hair, but she started seeing the different things. She's like, if I'm going to drive this far and I'm not really getting a great service, why don't I find someone closer? So she went to her realtor and was like, hey, who does your hair? And that was me. And we vibed in a second. She is Todd talks all the time about your avatar. She's my avatar. She wants to be blonde. She is a mom. She is married. She's on her second kid. We have so much in common without even knowing each other. So I'm like, this is my literally perfect client that I want to sit in my chair every day. And then we finished and she's like, this was amazing. I love my hair. You're great. I love this place. It's so clean. It's gorgeous. And you are efficient in your timing. So these things do matter to clients, and you will eventually, like we said, you'll lose people. I had one move and one now replaced that one. So I got lucky in one day. It's super cool. But it's neat to hear what clients really are looking for. And eventually they'll be just done with crappy service. That's my opening take.
Awesome. That's a good one. That feeds off of everything we've been talking about and what we'll talk about a little bit today with culture and all that stuff. It just goes back to what's important to clients. This was our last episode, actually. Yeah. What's important to clients is not the things that most business owners are worried about and stressing about in their businesses.
Yeah.
And it just is what it is. So I think recently I had a couple things that prompted this opening take, or where I'm going to go with it. I was doing something, I don't remember what, and I remember thinking, it was to do with the business. And I remember thinking, why is this so difficult? This seems like something trivial. Like, why am I struggling with this task? And so I got to thinking about that a bit. And then I saw a bunch of people post online. So this must have been the universe telling me, like, focus on this, I guess. But people were like, I'm really struggling with posting on social media, or I'm really struggling with my staff with this, or I'm really struggling with figuring out X. And it clicked in my head that people are looking at, just like what we look at the wrong things for compared to what clients want. I think we're asking the wrong questions. And I think people out there are blaming, for example, the economy, or they're blaming the younger generation or whatever, right? The things we talk about all the time. But it's really not that. It's how you're doing things within your business. And I don't have an example off the top of my head, but that's what got me thinking about like being more efficient with your bandwidth. If you're constantly putting out the same fire, why don't you just correct it once and make sort of this is a buzzword now, but put a system in place for that, so that your team or yourself can refer to that, and then you don't have to worry anymore. Even if you're someone that's independent, you can do this. You can create a playbook for when things happen, so that you don't have to go on Facebook and be like, what would you guys do in this situation? I don't know. What does your playbook say? Why do you need everyone else to figure out what you should do? It is clear to me that a lot of people know what to do or know what they want to do, but they're just looking for the cosign, or they're looking for their echo chamber. If it's something that they're on the fence about, say like a cancellation policy, for example. People love to charge a cancellation policy, but they don't like how it feels, because then the person pushes back and then they feel bad because, this person was actually sick or whatever the circumstances are. But you've put this in, and then you go online and you post it and you get 750 comments saying, know your worth, girl. And, you're a CEO boss, babe. So don't back down. I don't want that client on my chair anyways, all that stuff. So you're looking for just that you're doing the right thing, when in fact you're questioning it is probably because you're questioning if you're doing the right thing.
Right.
So anyways, that's my long roundabout opening take. Let's talk about why someone's salon might feel harder to run than it should. So that's a good way to put it.
That is very good. And I think it resonates probably with a lot of people.
So what are some things that people might struggle with, Jen, that are problems that they should be able to solve, like once?
Tricky.
No, you got nothing? All right.
Well,
What about
to solve it once, that's hard. So some of the stuff that's, I guess I'll say what's hard for me, and I wouldn't say, I don't know if this will work, but I find it hard sometimes, especially if I'm not in a great headspace, managing the different personalities under one roof where everybody needs something and it's different. So I wouldn't say there's one solution to that. First of all, it's getting my own self in a better mindset and really having patience, I guess, to deal with the different staff and what their needs are and what their issues are. But I don't know if there's one solution to that. And I don't know if that works for your scenario.
anything works? I'm just trying to have a conversation about this stuff because I think people are focused on the wrong things. And I think that makes your salon feel more, or any business feel more difficult to handle or to run, to operate. So I did have on my list that different stylists are doing different things, completely different things. So that's, I don't know what you'd do to fix that. Maybe have a playbook, maybe have some sort of systems, maybe have a meeting with them to say, this is how we do things here. But there's a reason, like they're not bad people.
Right.
So in that circumstance, you would see somebody go on Facebook and they would post, my staff just doesn't get it. What do you do? And then you would see 50 people post, people just don't work the way we used to.
Yeah.
That's not helping solve the actual problem.
I guess to solve that. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you're going to continue to have that problem no matter what staff you have.
Yeah. So I would say to solve that, what I do to solve that problem, especially if I'm not understanding why someone would do something, is be like, what were you thinking here? Or I'll say to somebody like, why when you did this didn't happen next? Because part of our job is to understand what they are thinking, because then I can explain it in a way that they'll be like, oh, I love that. Oh, that makes so much sense. Why didn't I think of that? I need to understand why you missed this so that I can understand how to explain the importance of it or a different way to look at it. Because again, if you're putting out the same fires all the time, there's clearly needs to be a different response or a different system or something has to change. And I do think understanding each of your staff or in your employees does help for when you have conversations, you understand what's going to resonate the most and what's going to make them understand where you're coming from.
Agree. I had on my notes too that if you're repeating the same conversations like every week with a different person or the same person or with yourself, that's something that needs to be addressed.
That's where a system definitely needs to be in place, because then you can just say it once. Here we are. This is how we do this. This answers that question,
Jen, you talked about the client experience. If your client experience isn't consistent, that's going to harm your business, which you just told a story about. Yeah. You need to figure that out. But the answer might not be get better clients.
Right. It might be teaching your staff to give the better experience, which then they retain.
Which is what a lot of you people will post on Facebook.
Yeah.
Fire that client. It's like a common thing. And that's just weird to me.
Yeah, it is very odd to me. I think a lot of people... Oh, go ahead.
No, go.
I would say a lot of what I see on Facebook from owners is like they have a problem with one person. And again, they turn to Facebook like, what would you guys do in this scenario? I'm like, why does it matter what everybody else chirps in? Like, again, you have to go back to that staff member and be like, what are you doing? And then you have to decide if they're a good fit or not. And Facebook's not really where you would go for that. That's on you. What's your mission? What's your vision? What's your core values? If that person's not aligning, figure out either how to work that out and have a conversation, or it's time to let them go. They're just not a good fit for that team, your team.
Yeah. Yeah, it for sure could be that it's not a good fit. But I think until you it's on you to exhaust all of your options first. And if you're not a good leader or a strong leader, I don't know, you can fix that too.
Right. Yep.
But you have to put the effort in, which means that you're going to have to put your ego aside and recognize that you're not the strongest possible leader and work on that stuff too.
And you have to always work on it.
Yeah, for sure. So I think people deal with this stuff and they misdiagnose what's going on. And that's where I was heading towards. Like, well, people would say, oh, I just need better employees, or no one wants to work, or this generation is just different than we were, or people don't care anymore these days, or you see all that same stuff. And I know that stuff might feel true, but it's usually not the actual, if you break it down, root problem.
That's just an excuse.
Yeah, because again, what did I say earlier? If you get new staff and you're having the same issues, then it's
you. and
not
what you're not
staff.
doing. Yeah.
You're having the same problems with different people. It's probably not the people.
Right. Definitely not.
Probably you. At some point, you have to ask yourself, what is the common denominator? What is the root cause?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I think most people are trying to solve the wrong problem with their business, and that's where a lot of struggle comes from. Whether it's picking out a vacuum or picking out a software to use. It's just crazy to me that you're investing that much time into things that don't really truly matter. Like your software is important, but it's important for very specific things. So any software that does those things is also going to have cons. Get over it
Mm-hmm.
and just pick one.
Right.
And definitely don't spend time bouncing around back and forth. I had this and I had this for 3 months and now I'm going to switch back to this. And that's crazy to me. That's a lot of time that you could put into something that would compound for your business. And maybe, again, we had an episode recently too, or it might not have been recently, but where we talked about people almost trying to find like busy work.
Yeah.
Because it feels safe. It feels like you're being productive. It feels like you're doing things, but you're not really moving your business forward. So it's not
It's
productive.
a waste of your time. Yeah.
Do those things need to get done? Yes. Can anybody at all pick a vacuum? Yes. All you have to do is go on and read some reviews.
Yeah.
Boom, done.
It should
Pick your
be
vacuum.
seconds and you can move on. We need a
Yeah,
vacuum, actually.
5 minutes. You should be able to find a vacuum. All right. So what are the real causes then? What do things boil down to most of the time? I would say it's two sort of sides to the equation, and it could be that these things are interchangeable almost, but it's your culture. And we'll define this because I feel like that's a buzzword now. Everybody has the best culture, right? What does culture mean? It's what's allowed at your business. It's how your business is perceived, not by you, not by what you say, but by the other people.
Mm-hmm. I think that's big. It's what you allow, because if you are not fixing problems, putting systems in place, having hard conversations, then you are allowing things to happen. And don't say they should just know, because that's not a thing. They should just know once the system is there, yes, because you can refer back to it. But if you don't have that laid out in black and white and make it as clear as you can, then they don't know and they can't read your mind. And you shouldn't expect that.
How about people doing the things that they're supposed to be doing when nobody's watching?
Mm-hmm.
I know that's a classic way to put it, but if you don't need to be there constantly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because your team understands what they're supposed to be doing and they do it because they buy in.
Right.
They believe in what you're doing and you make it worth it for them. I think that's an important one with culture.
Absolutely.
Did you say, I had in my notes that stuff that gets ignored? Did you say that a second ago?
I don't think so.
You're making that up?
Yeah.
So part of your culture too is the things that you ignore. So if somebody is late constantly and you ignore it forever,
then it's on you.
Your culture
mm-hmm.
is one that accepts lateness. Yep. That's fine if that's what you want. Now, you can't blame that person. You can, but if you hire somebody else and replace that person's late, we already know that you tolerate that people are late.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the problem? The problem is you need to fix your culture. How do you do that? There's a million ways to do it. And that's not what the show today is about, but you're going to have to figure that out. It's that what you tolerate, Jen, is a great way to put it too, is what you said.
Yeah, I was saying, like, if you allow it, then you're co-signing that it's okay. And if you allow it because you can't have a conversation, then now you got to work on that.
I guess another way to look at it too is your culture is what is reinforced, whether it's good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have good things that happen in your business and you celebrate those things constantly, people get that dopamine hit, right? That feels good. Wow, my boss thinks I'm awesome. Wow, I did a great job here. And I'm celebrated. I feel part of this. So that's going to reinforce that behavior. Whatever that person did to get that, they're going to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Because they want to be rewarded with that feeling good again. If you're constantly allowing or constantly reinforcing bad behavior, which is the same thing, I guess this is all the same, tolerating bad behavior, that's what people are going to do. Because that I think that's just human nature. People are going to push to whatever it is. So
wherever they're getting the attention from, negative or positive, that's what they're going to flock to.
If you allow your staff to sit around and then you go on Facebook and you're like, my staff just sits around, but you didn't ask them to do anything, then it's not them.
Right.
It's you.
I am constantly, when I am working, and yesterday I was in there all day, if I see people sitting, I don't care if you sit around to have a minute, whatever. But if it's like for a while, I'm like, hey guys, like we're getting, like last night, right? We're getting close to the end. I want to see trashes, vacuum, whatever, because the rest of us are all finishing up and then we can all leave together. And I don't think I offend anybody. If I do, they move on from it. But if anything, it just gets them up moving and we're all becoming a team. Those that don't have anything going on should be helping the most. And I just ask them. I'm not even telling them. I guess I am telling them, but not in a mean way. I'm just directing them and putting their attention where it needs to be, because so often it's easy to, I think Todd, you said even earlier, is it doom scroll? Is that what you called it?
Yeah.
Doom scroll. Okay.
A common term.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I didn't make it up.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure I was using the right term. So they're like maybe doom scrolling or whatever they're doing and they're caught up in some fake world. So I got to bring them back to reality. Hey, we're still at Hello Hair Co. Let's like do the stuff. And then they're like, oh my God, yeah. And they're up. But that's part of being a leader, is directing them and keeping their attention focused where you want it focused. And there's ways to do that have a very positive effect. And we do it very well at Hello Hair Co. And we're doing it often. That's just part of the job.
Yeah. I guess that's great. We can end on that for as far as culture. The other side of the equation that I was talking about earlier, these are like the root causes, is your systems. So your culture is what is allowed. It's how everything is perceived. Your systems are how you do things, how you've structured things, how you've laid things out. I think people get those two maybe mixed up too. Because they think if I just say things, like if I just say we're a high-end salon, then we're a high-end salon. I don't even know what that means when you say that. Or you use the word luxury.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. So we got a little deeper, I guess, into culture. Let's break down systems. So systems are all your little things that are repeat tasks that you need standardized. So it's how are clients greeted when they arrive? Down to you need to be explaining the time frame. I think ours is 5 seconds. Like a client you should be saying hello to a client. Even if you have your hands in someone's hair, you can turn your head and say hello.
Yeah, just acknowledge.
Yes. It's how, on the opposite side of that, it's how checkouts are handled. What does that look like? Let's not stress the client out. Let's not ask 27 extra questions when we already should know the answers. Because that stuff should have happened during the consultation, or during the service, or before they stood up to leave, to cash out, whatever. It's how your stations are cleaned. If you're not breaking down what you want things to look like as far as cleanliness, it's your fault. And I'm not trying to sound preachy. I'm just trying to give you the answers to the test. Because when we figured this stuff out, it goes from nobody knows how to clean to, oh, wow, this is pretty easy.
Yeah. Now I know what to do. I know what's expected of me.
And it's not that people don't need reminders. We had to remind people recently about some stuff because we had just moved back into our space. It's exciting. It's easy to like skip steps. Not everything is back where it's supposed to be quite yet. And people were a little bit lax with cleaning. They're not horrible people or quote unquote, this generation just sucks.
They just need a reminder.
Yeah. So we reminded them and it's been a lot better.
Yeah.
It's how your communication is handled. Like, how does communication between you and your staff happen? How does communication between you and clients or potential clients, how does that happen? What does that look like? These are all systems that if you sit down and put in place will definitely save you headaches in the future. And it's how mistakes are handled. Yeah. How do you handle a complaint? How do you handle when a client is running late? Like, what do those things look like? I guess you just try to fit them in, like the stylist you were talking about in your opening take. No, but communication, let's do an example of that. So, for example, if people are curious about or inquire about us doing a wedding, they contact me or they're through our website or whatever, and there's a form. They fill that form out, and then I can get back to them because that form gets me all the information that I need, and then I can give them an accurate quote. And it's done. I can look at if we have even the staff available for the wedding. It's just if I didn't have this system, it would be, and we've run into issues with this before because people try to help, but by breaking that chain,
They're doing the
it
opposite of what
screws
their
things.
intention is.
Yeah, it screws things way up because people are thinking it's one price, but that was the in-house price versus the travel, and then they're confused. And then I didn't even have the date on the calendar. I'm like, did anyone even check if we can do this wedding? It's because people tried to help, but we already had a system in place, and the system it's pretty thorough.
Yeah.
So it gives us all of the information. Let's use some real examples
Okay.
from Hello. We talked about cleaning. Why is that important, and what have we done with Hello that makes like everyday life easier? So we're not putting out the same fires over and over again.
We have lists. We actually even, I think it was last year, updated the list. We used to have first out, second out, and it was confusing. Or it left things up to be like, which one am I out on? So now we just have a list. This stuff needs to get done every day, daily. Someone, and y'all need to pitch in. And if you don't like doing some stuff, good, do the other. And you sign your initials, and there it is. And we have the initials signed so that if something isn't done to our level of where we want it, it's easy for us to go to, hey, so I know you said you cleaned this, but let me show you how we want it cleaned because this isn't to where we want it to be. And this way, then we're not like, hey, whoever did this, do it better next time. We talk to the individual, and it makes it a lot easier to put those fires out really quick and make it so that it's very rare.
Yeah, that was a great explanation. We have our cleaning room, which is systematized. When you bring stuff in, it goes here, then it moves here, then it moves here. Another thing that we did was we don't tell people, for example, clean your station. We tell them how to clean the station. So in each station, we used to have a checkout list. Now it's all on one, which we need to get back up on the walls still. It's out back, but it's not where it should be. And this way, people are cleaning out their station because we shift our chairs. And that's actually, I had that on my list too. But it's so by breaking down how we want the station cleaned, there's nothing left for interpretation. Right. So there's nothing that can get in the way of them doing the job that we're actually looking for. Not just, oh, I know how to clean the station, you clean it. You're going to miss stuff. Yeah. So I always tell people, just refer to the list because I'll still come in and I'm like, why are there products on these shelves? Products are supposed to be put away as part of you signing off on the sheet. Not a huge deal. But again, if you tolerate that and you let that little stuff slide, so it has to. I forget where I was going next, but
if you let it slide, then again, you're creating a culture of that you don't care if you don't follow the rules.
Right.
And again, the cleaning the stations, you could say, I tell them to clean their station, they should know. Because this is what we hear all the time.
Yeah.
They should know when you've set the rules. So we have, say, 6 things, which is exactly how we want. Whatever station you use today, this is how you're going to leave it when you leave today. And so this way, when we say clean your station, they have 6 things on their list right in front of them they know they need to do. Now, yes, they should know because it's laid out as to what is expected of what a clean station looks like at Hello Hair Co. to Jen and Todd.
We already talked about greeting clients. We already talked about handling mistakes. Shifting the station. This is something that we put in from day one, I believe.
Highly recommend.
And what this does is it keeps things from being territorial.
Yes.
And it keeps things clean. Yes. So nobody owns a station. First of all, Jen and I own all the stations.
Bought and paid for by us. So yes.
Yeah. I don't know where this comes from when stylists are like, this is my station. Nope. I didn't see your name on any of the bills. Just being funny there.
Yeah, for sure.
But you don't own a station. Instead, you're using the station in our collaborative space, and then you're leaving the station better for the next person that's coming in to use that station.
It also makes it so you move around the salon. So clients see different aspects of the salon, whether it's weekly or however often you pick a new chair. I love it when I move and they're like, is that new? And I'm like, nope, I just was sitting over there last time you were in and now I'm over here. And they're like, oh, okay. But they get a new perspective of the space that they're sitting in too, which makes it fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't trying to sell shifting the stations. I was trying to solve problems for people.
Okay, hey, that might solve a problem when they look at it differently and they're like, oh, it's a good idea. I got a good idea.
Another thing that we've built into like our systems is collaboration. For example, we don't shy away from not having all the answers. Instead, we invite collaboration. So two heads are better than one. And trust me, clients see this. We've had people on our team before that do not want to do this because they think they need to have all of the answers or they look a certain way. And trust me, your clients know that you don't have all the answers. They already know that. You're not perfect. There are so many people out there that are better at doing whatever you're doing than you.
Yep. You just need to know where to go to find the answers.
Yeah. So those are some systems/culture things that we've built into Hello Hair.
And they work really well.
They work well for us. I'm sure other people will have different things that those were just examples of what we do, but those things solve a lot of those problems. So we don't have to necessarily worry too much about cleanliness in the salon because by creating the systems for cleaning and by building into our culture that the stations are shifted, the staff mostly takes care of it themselves. They don't want to be known as a slacker, so they're going to clean their station out. And if it's not done right in our communication, people are like, hey, this isn't done right. That's another thing we had to address because people were going on Slack and trying to address it themselves, but they should be coming to us and then we address it.
They don't need that burden.
Nobody's going to listen to you, one. And two, you shouldn't have to be addressing the team.
And it comes off from us as a leader, right? And they respect us and they look at that and they are like, okay, that makes sense, right? And that's our job.
Yeah, for sure. And this stuff didn't happen by accident. We didn't just hope people would figure it out. It's stuff that's all built in. And now we're not putting out fires of those things that we just talked about because we know how to do it.
And that frees us up to do other things that are more important for growing the business and pushing us into our vision and what we want to do for Hello Hair Co.
What are some of the things, Jen, that people would, or why aren't business owners fixing these things?
I would say they're afraid. They're afraid of pushback. They're afraid that I think a lot of people just are like, everyone's going to leave if I make them do these things. And these things have to be done in order for this business to operate and to still be operating next year and the year after. I think they're afraid of hard conversations.
That's the number one I had on my list.
What?
Avoiding uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah, they're not easy, but the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. And then you'll find ways to come from a place where it doesn't feel so hard to have the conversation. You almost will feel better. Not almost, you will feel better. But it's avoiding that because it's uncomfortable. People don't like to be uncomfortable. And as a leader, you better get good at being uncomfortable.
Ego I had on here, which I think we talked about. Easier, this is just how we do it here, or this is just how it's always been done, or whatever. People, that's you. I think a lot of people out there just want to be in charge.
Yeah.
So they have a salon, they have a business, they're a boss babe now. Inconsistency is definitely one of the reasons that you're not having things fixed. If you're inconsistent, that goes back to your culture. That goes back to the things that you tolerate. Sometimes maybe this person is late and you don't say anything, but this person's late and you bark at them.
Yeah.
That's why your problem's not really getting fixed. No clear expectations. And then I had actually hiring out of desperation because I think that's hurting your business. People think I just need people in here no matter what. And that's not going to work.
Right.
You got to find the right people. So I think other things too, why people ignore it. It's easy, or why people don't fix it. I just gave away what I was going to say. It's easier to ignore the problem.
Or so it feels until it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then now you don't even know where to start.
Because you're reinforcing it. And the reason I wanted to get back to this is because you just said something about having conversations and how it's hard to have conversations. I actually think it's easier because what you need to be doing is pointing this stuff out almost immediately. That way it doesn't build up, because if it builds up, it's not good for you. And it's like taking something out on your dog. Your dog doesn't remember what it even did by the time you're yelling at it. So now you save up all this stuff and you're pissed off at your staff and you're like, you know what? Let's have it out. So you pull them aside and you're yelling at them about all this stuff and they weren't even aware of it. So that's not fair. So I think candor comes into the equation where you have to just be blunt with people. hey, why would you do that?
Mm-hmm.
That's not how we do things here. What about what we've laid out isn't clicking for you?
Right.
Why would you think that is acceptable? And you're not being mean, you're just being honest. And
And
as a
honestly,
leader,
yeah,
I need to understand how to fix this
yeah.
problem.
And then your job is to listen, like actually listen to their answer. Maybe you're even, I didn't realize it was that confusing how that system was. Like you have no idea what they're going to say. And give them a second to answer you and give you some feedback.
Now, I will put in a little caveat here. You are going to run into people that are going to try to complicate your life in every way, shape, or form, no matter what. We used to have someone at our salon that every single solution that we provided, they had a problem. They had a problem for, or they had a way that they could rework it to make it better. And I was always like, what the heck is happening? You're always trying to rearrange stuff that doesn't need to be rearranged.
Right.
And then it's creating confusion because the staff is, wait, do we do it this way? Or did I miss something? Does this person,
Right.
that's a leadership. That person isn't with us anymore. And that's probably part of it.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm just pointing out that it's not that you're going to lay out systems and then 100% of people are
Right.
going to be awesome fits for your business.
Yes.
That's not what I'm saying.
It's just
But you
going to
definitely
help.
need to, yeah. So what to do about these things? How do you fix stuff? Define stuff. So don't be vague. Don't assume anything. Be clear and specific. If it's not defined, if it's not written somewhere, it's optional. I promise you. That's how people think. Build simple systems. So make it easy for people. Our cleaning is so easy to follow. It's repeatable. It's not overly complicated. They don't need to be perfect. They need to be there. That is your systems. We even have how to mix chemicals. It's on the bottle. I still printed it out, laminated it, and put it with the chemicals. If you need this product, here's the ratios. And not even ratios. Mix this many ounces with this many ounces of water, and you'll get this. Lay stuff out. Make it easy. Make it foolproof. If it seems dumb to you, if you're like, nobody needs this, put that up.
Yeah.
That's probably what's going to happen.
I remember when I asked for the mixing
help
ratio
people
and
out.
Todd's like, what, can you not read? And I'm like, I can read
Because-
just fine, but I'm like, this confuses me. And if we just make it simple, then everybody will participate. And honestly, I don't know the last time I've filled either of those because whenever they're empty, someone goes to the sheet, they know how to fill it. So now it's always full. It's great.
Yeah. It is something I didn't recognize because I just look at the bottle with stuff.
I'm like, we need this written out. And like I said, it is now always done. It's awesome.
Something else that's going to help you is following through consistently. This can't be just sometimes, like we talked about the person that's late that you yell at versus the person that's late that you ignore. You can't do that and expect things to be consistent. It has to be every time, not when you just feel like it. And that consistency is what builds your trust too with your team.
Absolutely.
Because they know. And then when you build that trust, then that's where people start to buy in. And that's going to fix a lot of your problems too. When you're inconsistent, it creates confusion. It's going to look like favoritism because it is. You're not doing the same things for each person. Why? You must like that person more. That's how people think. And then align people. So everybody needs to know the expectations. If you don't tell them, and I wouldn't just tell them, I would give them something written. We have a playbook that people can access. I need to re-upload that. And everyone needs to understand the standard because that clarity is what makes people better at their job. Jen often says, we have certain guidelines or rules for our business, but we want you to then understand those rules, follow those rules, but then be creative within that. So you know the boundaries that you can operate within. And by having that with your staff, I feel like we have pretty happy staff that understands what they need to be doing. And yeah. And let's wrap this up because we're going a little long here because I was trying to keep it too relaxed and then we started just yapping. I think this goes back to what we've been talking about, Jen, and I started talking about it back in October or November of last year, where I think you're going to see a split in the hair industry and there's going to be tier A salons and then there's going to be the rest of the field. And how do you separate yourself? How do you not just be one of every other salon in your city? You have to build an actual business. You've got to be mindful. You've got to be consistent. You have to build with intent. You have to really focus. You have to go back and listen to my episode on our episode on the 5 modes and understand that stuff, that when you're behind the chair is not the time. Like you said, Jen, you have a hard time managing personalities when you're behind the chair. Yeah, because you're in operator
Right.
mode. You're not in manager or leadership role
Right.
or mode. So you have to think more long term, not just put out this fire, but what can I do so this fire puts itself out if
Right.
it happens in the future? Stuff like that.
Yes.
The salons that feel easy to run, they're not just lucky. Like they built that.
Right.
They made decisions and they stuck to them, good or bad. If you make a decision for your business and you're afraid that your staff is going to hate it, that's not you building your business. We've seen that, right? I guess it's just building a business on purpose.
Yeah.
It's going to help.
With intention, right?
Yeah. I think don't worry about being perfect. Don't worry about having all the answers. Just get in there. Look at your culture. Look at your systems. What sort of problem is this? Is it a culture problem? Is it a systems problem? They both come from you. And when you realize that, you can nudge your culture in a direction. We talk about that. Don't change everything overnight.
Right.
Yes, of course, that's going to scare people. Yes, of course, people might leave because you're changing the entire thing. But you can nudge things in the right direction and then create systems that support that. And I think you'll be good.
I would agree.
Anything else, Jen?
No. I'm going to go doom scroll. I think that's the first or second time I've ever said that in my life.
Maybe I'll cut some of this out so it's not so long.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyways, all right. Thanks for listening. Bye, everyone.
Bye.